Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Client Success Stories with Coach Jackson. I'm with one of my star students. This man is incredible. His name's Alberto. I'm so excited to bring him to you because he had such amazing results in the program. He lost about 20 pounds, took off about 5% body fat, but really had that nice athletic physique. Incredible. No pack to six pack, athletic physique, looks amazing. I'm so proud of him and happy to bring him here. Alberto, welcome.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
So why don't you bring us back before the amazing transformation to where you started? So where were you at mentally, emotionally, physically before you started in my program?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I really appreciate being here and just being able to talk about some of the successes. And then just having you as a coach, really appreciate all of that. I guess, back, I was in anesthesia school, and while I was in anesthesia school, I actually started like weight training and doing more cardio. And then after I finished that, was still doing a lot of my workouts. And then all of a sudden, I kind of just like fell off the wagon. I got married back in 2017. I was working with a private trainer then, and then I stopped doing that, and then kind of just like worked out on my own, and then I stopped following my diet plan. Anyways, fast forward to 2019, my wife got pregnant, and then COVID happened. Subsequently after that, I injured my back actually back in 2019. I had an injury to my neck. And so every time I would lift weights or even do a little bit of cardio running, I would be in pain. And so I stopped working out for, say, about 3 or 4 months. And at first, I thought I was still kind of like fit. And then, I ended up getting the tonal because I was like, oh, this is going to be a really good investment with COVID happening. And so I was like working out and I thought I was really fit. And then I was kind of just like eating everything that I wanted to eat because I was like, oh, I'm working out, like I can eat as much as I want to. And then my birthday this year in July, it was actually at a water park and my daughter was there. And then I had my shirt off. I thought I was like fit. And then I saw a picture of myself and I was like, I need to do something with myself. What was I thinking? I have love handles the size of Costco, And so I was just like, man, I'm going to buy myself a program to just like make myself better. And so signing up with you was actually my birthday gift for myself. And honestly, it's been like the best that I could have given myself, right? Every penny was worth it. It is a lot of work and I was exhausted, but it's so nice to like finally be able to like go to the shower and like see my abs. And I was like, I've never seen my abs before. But mostly like I can live a better health, like a better lifestyle and have better health. And my daughter sees me work out and she's like 16 months, right? Like she's trying to do like burpees with me. She's never going to get there at this point yet. But it's just like fun to see that like she knows that like mom and dad are taking like initiatives to live a good lifestyle. I've always like eaten organic food after I graduated from school, just because I think that investing on good food is better than spending that money in medicine in the future. So I definitely wanted that lifestyle. And so now that I have that information and things that I need to do, I'm just like super excited to like pass that on to my family and to my daughter, just because working in healthcare, you see a lot of things that you don't necessarily want to see, especially with morbid obesity and things like that. And I am by no means obese, but when I saw myself on my birthday, I was like, if I don't make a change now, I'm gonna get there. And as much as I don't want to, I could easily get there if I don't take the time to work out or to like eat properly and to just like learn all those information that's necessary. Like you're I won't be able to change things around me, but at least I can change things for myself and for my family.
Wow. First of all, thank you for the compliments. Congratulations on having a child, like all of that stuff. Lots to unpack there. But I think a couple of things that stood out for me was that you had the awareness to realize that maybe you weren't as good as you thought you were and you needed to make some changes. You then invested in yourself, you took action, and you found a good program. You followed through with it, right? Which is another huge insight and a breakthrough. Now you're in a position where your confidence is through the roof, your energy's high, and you just feel so good. And you're setting that example to your children, which is something I hear as a recurring theme over and over again from my most successful clients. So I think there's so many good things there, right? So I want to acknowledge you and really thank you for putting in all the hard work. You definitely deserve all the success and all the results that you got. You do, because you put in so much work. I'm super proud of you. I'm really excited to see where you go from here. But before we talk about the future and kind of where you're headed, why don't we talk a little bit about, were there any struggles along the way, things that you hit roadblocks maybe, that you could give somebody who's listening at home some insights on how to overcome those kinds of obstacles if they hit the same ones?
Yeah, sure. So, I work in healthcare. One of the first struggles I think is just like managing my time because I have to get up at like 5 or 4:30 in the morning before when I would go to the gym to like work out. And so that was definitely a roadblock for me. But now that I have like the tonal and this program, you being able to kind of just like adjust things appropriately, I can literally get up an hour before work and just work out, and it's so accessible. And so that I needed to adjust a little bit on like time management, but also because I had your guidance and like you made it easy for me with the tonal. So that was really easy. The other thing is I pulled my back doing one of the workouts. What happened was I was doing like, I think like shoulder rows or back rows, and I pulled my back and I was so bummed. I was bummed about it because I was like, man, I paid for this program. I'm only like a month and a half in and I'm not going to make it. I talked to you about it, and I went to go see like one of the colleagues that I work with and was able to get a shot. And honestly, in 2 or 3 days, I was back to working out normal again. And then other things like dieting definitely is very hard because I went from just like, oh, like tonight we're gonna have like fried chicken, and then to like actually preparing for my entire week. So I had to make adjustments in that and just making sure that I like follow the guidelines. And those are probably the hardest, is like the dietary changes. But I think with motivation and the fact that this is an investment for me, it's not just like a program that I can easily join and then like I have nothing to lose. I think that was like encouraging, and it's nice that you can monitor my progress to make sure that I am where you want me to be.
Got it. So time management, making things easy on yourself, setting yourself up for success. Obviously, the tonal certainly helps with that. And
Mhm.
then making things as simple as possible. So you just have to take action. Then understanding injuries are part of the game. Those are going to happen from time to time. We don't want them to happen, but everybody who lives, an active lifestyle and is working out and pushing themselves is going to experience some aches and pains along the way. And that you kept the right mindset and you took action, you reached out, you got some help, you overcame it. And then with the dietary stuff, right? That is hard for a lot of people, and that's the Achilles heel for most people. How did you manage that, given the fact that you have, a family, and given the fact that you have a busy schedule and you don't have a ton of time? How did you manage to make those dietary changes?
So I actually really enjoy cooking, and I was one day I was like preparing my food and I said, or if I don't know how to cook, I don't think I can make it. But thankfully the guideline that you gave us, the like the examples and things like that were really helpful. But I think what really saved me are those like non-starchy vegetables. What I would do is just like figure out how much macros I needed and then buy that on Saturday, and then on Sunday I just did all my meal preps, and it would normally take me about 3 to 4 hours to make all of my meal preps. But I would do just like my proteins and then my carbs and then my fats, and then everything else are non-starchy vegetables. And so I kind of like just add my broccoli in there, my onion, my garlic, and all those things. But I think it's what's really important is like setting a goal and setting a time frame for you to be able to do those things and do all the it's like going to work, right? Like you won't be successful if you don't have like a mindset at work that this is what you want to accomplish. And so my Sundays usually are going to church and then cooking. Those are like and obviously like family times, but those are the two things that I need to accomplish during the weekend. And so And people are telling me, they're like, wow, you have time to like meal prep. And I was like, actually, now that I'm meal prepping and intermittent fasting, it's actually less stressful for me because I don't have to worry about food for the rest of the week. A lot of times I'm like, oh, what am I gonna eat tonight? I wonder if there's like snacks. Literally, you just have to set a goal for yourself, commit to it, and you can be successful with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I find it's kind of funny because people they don't want to have any sort of framework or barriers around what they eat or their nutrition or anything, but then they end up having to make decisions all day, every day about
Hmm.
what they're going to eat and what the macros of that are going to be. And then more often than not, they make poor decisions. What I find is very useful and interesting is that when you give people a bit of a framework and you say, all right, this is kind of the framework to work within, their creativity can really run. And that frees up so much other time, energy, and even mental focus to do other things. So when you're doing things like intermittent fasting and then you're doing your meal prep, now you have so much more mental bandwidth and time during your week to spend time with your family, work out, do these other things because you're not worried about food and what you have to eat
Hmm.
all day.
Yeah,
So,
I literally
uh,
just grab it from my fridge and then I'm good to go.
oh, that's great. That's so great. And again, I commend you on going through the materials, taking action, learning, getting that education, and then applying it, right? Because you're getting the knowledge and applying it, which is wonderful. So if there was one like breakthrough that you would want to share, like what was the biggest breakthrough for you as you've gone through this? Is it maybe something with nutrition? Is it knowing that you're capable of more? Is it a mental thing, confidence? Like what's the biggest breakthrough that you've had as you've gone through this program?
When I signed myself up for 3 months of committed dedication, I definitely didn't think that I was going to be able to do it. And just having to like manage a family and having to do all of the dietary changes. I mean, like, I work anywhere from 50 to 56 hours, and we travel to Chicago back home usually every month, and then like having to go on vacation, which I love. I just didn't think that I would be like, I knew I could do it, but I knew it was going to be hard. But it wasn't actually as hard as I thought it was going to be once I had the mentality that like this is now part of my life. The biggest thing is that I anything that you set your mind to, you're going to be able to do. Even, like some of the talks that you have and some of the letters that you send out, you just kind of talk about like this is only like whatever you can do is only like 70. It's when you say you can't do it, it's only like 70%, but if you believe, it's like you get 110% of what you can do. And so that was really helpful, like when I'm doing like my bench presses and I'm like, here are my mountains, and I'm just like pushing through. And so that was really helpful, just like knowing that I whatever I can set my mind to, whether or not it's physical changes or mental changes, I would be capable of doing. The other thing, I wasn't interested in intermittent fasting at all. I was just encouraged by kind of like your talk about it and then what you had, but that was probably the most valuable thing I've ever done, because it not only helped me with obviously my dieting, it also helped me change my focus and ability to control things that I'm otherwise not able to control. So like my vices, I'm able to like get rid of them, and things that I don't want to do, I'm able to just like control myself. Because if I can't control something that's essential, which is food, then how will I be able to control other things that are not essential in my life? And so intermittent fasting really helped me with that. And I just want to commend you for like writing such a great thing about it and including that as part of your or encouraging your clients to include that as part of their dietary plan, because I think that if anything, I'm most thankful for that because it's helped me improve my life.
Wonderful. Yeah, I started doing it in 2007. Learned it
Wow.
from the great fitness model Greg Plitt. And then when I was doing consulting, when I was working at consulting companies, it just helped immensely because you're in an office all day and there's candy, there's treats around, there's all this stuff
Hmm.
around. And when you just make that decision not to eat, it's funny how you don't get hungry. So it helped me
Hmm.
a lot because I was traveling on planes, I was in airports, and there's just no good food options, especially back then there was no good food options.
Yeah.
And what do? You just don't eat. And then when you get to the good food, you stock up, you eat a little bit more than maybe you normally would
Hmm.
in a meal. So that's awesome that you've had that breakthrough. I think the biggest thing and most important thing that I took away from what you said was that you made it like a lifestyle. Like you just made this decision that this is going to be part of your life. Can
Hmm.
you expand on that just a little bit? What like, because so many people think this is a diet, this is just a workout program, and it's like, no, this is a life. Like you're changing your life.
Yeah. What I mean by it is that like it's not just something that I'm gonna change for the duration of the program. It's now part of like my life and my family's life, right? Whether or not my wife wants to take on intermittent fasting or healthy eating, I definitely encourage her, and I think she does. Or even my children in the future, my daughter, or whoever lives in our household. I think it's just something that's going to be part of our minds. For me, for instance, I like faith is part of my life, and so is like healthy eating. For me, it's just like constant that's in my head, because if a lot of like food companies are constantly overwhelming our society with these crazy foods that are obviously really good but really bad for us, and if we don't have that knowledge to make dietary changes that are healthy for us or make it part of our life, I think that we can really easily slip, get other like comorbidities and diseases. And so I think if I make this a part of my life and who I am and like things that I talk to other people about, I think that, hopefully I can make some sort of impact through others, and hopefully with like my success story also obviously pass that on to other. But I think it's not just something that like you easily take and then like you toss away after. It's just something that you're going to constantly doing. I mean, like you've been doing intermittent fasting since 2007. That's a pretty long time, and hopefully I can get there too.
Yeah, it gets easier the longer you do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, before I ask the last question, I just want to acknowledge you again for all the hard work you put in. You deserve all the success, all the health, like everything that you've gotten out of this. You deserve it because you put in the work. You did, the workouts. You stuck to the diet. You did the meal prep. So I want to commend you for that. I am so proud of you. I
Thank
really
you.
am excited to see where you go from here. Last question. Was it worth it? And where you go to next?
Oh yeah, I mean, like definitely worth it. I'm already like advertising at work or like where with my friends and stuff like that. And then they're like, "Oh, there's Alberto again talking about his like his coach or like tonal and things like that." But yeah, definitely worth it. Again, it's an investment. It's not just like something that you would do for the 3, 4, or however long months that you decide to move forward with the coaching or like the meal planning. But I definitely think it's worth it. I think that it's an investment for your health, for your family, and if you want to spend good money and spend it on like yourself, it's better to spend it on this than like medicine. Food tastes better than medicine. So I think a lot of people don't have that mentality that like if you don't invest on like good food, things that are actually healthy for you, like you're gonna spend it later on in life in pills. My wife's a pharmacist, and so like I kind of try to understand it a little bit more. But yes, definitely worth it. Moving forward, I'd love to like keep working out. I'm super excited with like keeping in touch with obviously you and kind of just like touching base on if there's anything that I need or and kind of just like following where you are and your other clients. Those are super exciting because I feel like every success story that you post is my own success story. And so I get really excited when I see people. And even like seeing you on Tonal, I'm just like, oh yeah, I know him. I chatted with him. So it's just super exciting to be part of this like bigger program, right? It's not just like something that's just you find somewhere. And I think the quality that you give to your clients and the time that you give your clients is definitely worth it. I did want to mention that I was specifically interested in someone that had or is familiar with the tonal. There's a lot of like programs out there, and I already had other coaches previously. They're just like not as attentive. And so I appreciate that. I think the fact that you can privately coach or kind of just help out with knowing what this machine is. Sorry, I'm pointing to my tonal, but like what this machine is, I think that definitely improves it so much. So yeah, thank you so much for everything. I think you've done a really great job, and thank you for the quality that you give to your clients. I don't think there's one client that's unsatisfied with you. So
Thank you. Thank you. It's a lot of hard work, but it's hearing stories like this that make it all worth it. Um, a lot of people know kind of my story, my history with my mom and my family, and the things I've struggled with myself personally. So it's being able to help you and feel like I saved somebody from having to deal with all these
Mhm.
issues that we talked about in the future, and having to save your family from having to deal with those issues. Like,
Mhm.
that's what means so much to me. So thank you so much again for putting on all the hard work. And thank you for being
Yeah,
on today
likewise.
and sharing your story. So I
Yeah, no
appreciate
problem.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks again.